The top five of the UFC of 2015 versus that of 2025 featherweight edition. This is going to be interesting, so let's see the matchups. Starting off with fifth, you got Ricardo Lamas versus Aljamain Sterling. Yeah, I think Aljamain Sterling would absolutely win this. I think the game's just evolved too much. Like, Ricardo Lamas is not hanging today. Aljamain Sterling is an extremely underrated striker. As we saw in the Brian Ortega fight, he does have decent distance management, and his wrestling and BJJ are just on another level. I think he would absolutely beat Ricardo Lamas. Next up, we have Max Holloway versus Lerone Murphy. Now, this was a very young version of Max Holloway. This was not like the version he would go on to become in around 2018. That's around the time he started to hit his prime. But I do still think he would beat Lerone Murphy. I think he would just pick him apart, to be honest with you. I think he'd also put on a pressure and pace that Lerone Murphy would not be able to keep up with, right? If you thought Aaron Pico was able to land hands on Lerone Murphy, then I think Max Holloway would be able to do the same thing, but for the course of 3 or 5 rounds. Next up is Chad Mendes versus Yair Rodriguez. Okay, I got to be 100% honest. Chad Mendes would probably destroy Yair Rodriguez. And it's not because I think that Yair is like a bad fighter. He just does not do well against wrestlers. Chad Mendes is going to bum rush him from the get-go. He's going to be on him. He's going to wrestle him. He's going to take him down extremely quickly, ground and pound him, probably win by 30-27. Frankie Edgar versus Diego Lopez. This is a very interesting fight, right? Because Frankie Edgar is an extremely underrated boxer who used footwork very effectively. He was constantly moving on angles. And I think that Diego Lopez, he just doesn't move his head very well. And not that Frankie Edgar's a power puncher, but he's going to be sticking him for the entire 3 rounds, as well as Frankie will wrestle you. It doesn't matter if you're a BJJ-ish or not. You got to remember, he was wrestling Charles Oliveira and beat him by way of decision. So I'm going to go with Frankie Edgar on this one, but that might be a bit of a hot take. Number one contender, you got Jose Aldo versus Movsar Evloev. I think Jose Aldo wins. I think his style is a kryptonite, especially if it's a 3 round fight. I think Aldo would win, probably 29-28 decision. If it's a 5 round fight, it can be a bit dicey, but Evloev's got nothing on the feet for Aldo. Aldo's going to stuff the takedowns just like he did in the Marab fight, except he's not going to get held up against the cage. This was a much more competent version of Jose Aldo who would actually escape those kinds of positions. Lastly, you got Conor McGregor versus Alexander Volkanovski. Volkanovski wins. Too much pressure, too much pace, wrestling, takedown, ground and pound, all that sort of stuff is Conor's kryptonite. Conor could land the left hand and knock him out like he could on anybody else. But the difference is when Alexander Volkanovski's in there, he's going to be on top of you. He's going to be wrestling the entire time. Imagine what Chad Mendes did, but without the gassing out part.